Welcome, everybody, live to the Three Man Rush podcast. I am your host, Landon Oliver, here with my two co-hosts, Andrew Scott and Big Jared Holly. What is going on, fellas? Y'all doing all right?
Doing
Pretty
good,
good.
man.
That's right.
Yeah, doing well.
If you are joining us here on YouTube, we want to thank you so much for your support. Go ahead, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. That way you can be notified whenever we do anything. We 3 episodes a week. We're also live on Twitter. So if you're following us on Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter, go ahead and give a follow out to the Three Man Rush podcast. Thank you guys so much for the support as well. And busy day today, man. Pretty crazy day as far as I guess NFL trade deadlines go. Like that, you never truly really pop off. I felt like I was watching the NBA deadline today.
No, it was nice to see all that shit pop off right there at the end of the same time together. Some pretty big names that got moved too. I mean, some that one particular that I'm excited to talk about that won't really take effect until next year. But then a couple guys that's going to make a big impact this year too. So some pretty interesting names that were moved and weren't moved too. On the flip side of that I'm excited to talk about.
I'm really excited to talk about that one that will not impact this season. That was very random, like extremely random. But
which one? There's a lot of random ones.
There's only one of them. So there's only one of them that won't really matter until next year, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's the. Should we just jump right into it?
Yeah, let's just hop into it here.
Okay, let's do it. So yeah, I mean, Calvin Ridley to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I can't remember the exact details of the trade, but it's a 6th round pick that could potentially turn into a 2nd round pick if all these different boxes are checked off. Like if he makes the team, if he plays for so many games, if they sign him to an extension, like there's so many different layers they can make it go from like every time another box gets checked off, the pick moves around earlier. I mean, it's pretty cool, pretty wild how it was structured. But man, you talking
also,
about going into the 2023 season with Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, maybe Evan Ingram if he's back. He's looked pretty good. Travis Etienne.
They probably draft another guy too, I would imagine.
Even if they don't, that's a solid group of playmakers, man. Like, great. I know Calvin Ridley doesn't do anything for him this year, but kind of what we said about Hopkins whenever he came back. He Hopkins and Ridley both. They're not away from the game because they're hurt. Like these guys are staying ready. They're gonna be ready, and I think outside of learning the offense, which Ridley will now have plenty of time to do. I don't think he really misses much of a beat, getting back out on the field next year. So
yeah, I mean, he should be a good player because it's not injury related. So I don't know.
No, and he's an elite separator. Like Ridley, he's always open. So Lawrence.
The only problem is, I guess you have a quarterback that right now is less accurate than Gardner Minshew for the Jaguars. So
yeah,
Trevor
still has some growing to do for sure.
Yeah, which I kind of count this as more like his rookie year because I don't think
this is absolutely really his rookie year.
I don't think last year he really had much of a chance, but that's an interesting deal. And I don't know, I believe there were 20 deals made over the last at this, I guess technically the deadline period. Over the last few days. Let's see here. So obviously we talked about that one. We got Bradley Chubb getting moved now, going down to welcome to Miami.
That's huge, man. We just a couple episodes ago, we talked about how it was weird that Miami blitzes on such a regular percentage, but they still weren't generating that much pressure. Well, Bradley Chubb gonna help fix that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's still young too. And then not only that, but this kind of allows that young pass rusher they drafted last year, Jalen Phillips. It kind of allows him to have a little bit more pressure off of him because right now they were asking him to basically lead that group, and this kind of lightens the load on everybody along that defensive line now. So yeah, that's a good deal. That was 1st round pick as well. So
do you remember how excited everybody was that Chase Edmonds was going to be in Miami? season.
Yeah. Now he's at the
Speaking of
Broncos.
running backs in Miami, he's in Denver, and Jeff Wilson is.
Yeah, I was gonna say they.
Who is better than Chase Edmonds?
He very well could be. I mean, Edmonds hasn't really shown much this year, and you can only go off of what we got to go off of, and he certainly has not looked good this year.
Yeah, I had a
Raheem
big
Mostert has though, which he fits what Mike McDaniel wants to do really well, as does Jeff Wilson. Obviously since they fit so well in San Francisco, it makes sense that they're going to fit well in Miami as well. So yeah, I think it makes sense for them to go that direction.
Yeah, there was that one. So you have Jeff Wilson there going to Miami, Chase Edmonds going to Denver, and then obviously Bradley Chubb and Chase Edmonds and a first round pick going to Denver. So they recoup a little bit, I guess, of that third or that first round pick from Russell Wilson, which they will need all the picks they can get right now because they still owe that guy $200+ million over the next few years. I think the earliest they could even possibly think about getting out of that deal is 2025. So they're stuck.
Wow.
Yeah, they're stuck with that deal at least for the next 3 years. Some other deals went down too. Chase Claypool going from the Steelers to the Bears.
Good for the Bears.
For a second round pick. And like I'm not a big Chase Claypool fan. Like I'm not.
Man, it's better than 95% of their wide receivers on that team.
Well, I was gonna say, but I still really like this deal for the Bears from the aspect of it at least shows they're trying to do something around Justin Fields as opposed to this offseason where it looked like they weren't going to do anything. Well, I think they've had their answer on, do they have a franchise quarterback over the last 2 weeks because they've properly utilized him? Something that we've all been screaming about for the last year and a half. They finally started to do that. Imagine that. He looks good. And so now they're showing that now they're willing to build around him. Now, we'll see what Chase Claypool is. Like I said, I've never been a big guy, but
I really thought he would go to the Packers. There was a lot.
The Packers offered the same pick. I mean, there was both. The Packers offered a second-round pick. The Bears offered a second-round pick. But they thought that the Bears' second-round pick would obviously be higher than the Packers. So that's why they took the Bears offer. So interesting there.
I don't know how the Packers don't outbid them for that. I mean, they're not a wide receiver away, but it's very, very clear that Rodgers needs some help, and I'm really surprised that a guy they've been connected to, that they let something like a difference in second round picks be what beat them to the punch. Man,
the Bears have a better wide receiving core than the Packers do. That's crazy to think.
I mean, Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool probably is better than what the Packers got going on right now.
Yeah, well, especially now, poor Christian Watson got another concussion, so he's probably out for a little while again.
Yeah, it's true.
That really sucks too, man. Like, because I saw a lot of like discourse online, which of course, is like the cesspool of humanity. But there are people now, like, they're already calling him a bust. They're they're just talking so bad to that guy, like on the internet. His mom hopped on Twitter to defend him. His mom has been like going off on these trolls. It's been hilarious.
Good for her.
She shouldn't have to do it though. She shouldn't have to. But there's been a lot of bad stuff said. So yeah, if you send players bad message, especially after they get hurt, like, that's kind of out of their control. Like, they don't go into the game planning on getting hurt. So if you're one of those people that messages players after they get hurt to tell them how shitty they are,
grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Right.
I was gonna say something else, but I don't want to condone that activity. It's just ridiculous. But what else we got here? We got some more deals here. Let's go through here.
What about Roquan Smith to the Ravens?
Yeah, big Roquan
sticking with the Bears. I mean, it's a delicate little time right now for it's a delicate time right now for the AFC North with Jamar Chase being down. Since he just got plummeted by
Steamrolled.
Cleveland on Monday Night Football. Baltimore starting to get a little healthy, getting some more pieces on their defense. That's going to be a really fun division race to watch. I think it's far from decided, so good on Baltimore for going for it.
I like Roquan too. I think he's a good player. Like the only thing that's bad is like now they're gonna, and he's looking for like a $20 million contract, and he's he's an off-ball linebacker, and you still have your quarterback that's wanting like a Deshaun.
I was gonna say there's someone else they got to pay first.
Yeah, so I mean, like, is this like going to end up being a rental type of thing for them? Where, I mean, because if you give Lamar that much money, man, and like they're already paying money out to guys too, so it's going to get a little tight there. I'm curious to see how they do this, because even as much as like I love Shaq Leonard and like you already know how I feel about him, he's my guy, but even his contract was a little tough to swallow, and like he does things that are like so far above and beyond normal linebacker play, namely getting the ball back, like the single most important play a defense can make, and he's like the best player at it. So I can even kind of like understand that, but I don't know how you pay a linebacker $20+ million. It's like paying running backs. And you know what we don't do on this show, Andrew? What don't we do?
Never pay running back.
That's right, baby. So that was TJ Hawkinson to the Vikings.
I like that.
I think that was the piece they were like. Irv Smith's on the IR now, isn't he?
Yeah. They just put him on the IR today.
So they upgraded.
Yeah. Even if Irv Smith was healthy, they still upgraded.
Right.
Yeah.
They're making a push, man. They feel
Jefferson,
good.
Yep, they see what the Packers
like KJ Osborne. Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be made that they're the second best team in the NFC. I said the same thing about Dallas last week, and I still feel like it's a very open discussion, but it's a discussion that you have to put Minnesota in the conversation for. Between them
I think
and
Dallas is the second best like team in the NFC as long as Tony Pollard plays over Zeke.
It won't happen unless you see Jerry's quotes today. Did you see Jerry's quote today?
We go as Zeke goes.
Yeah, they asked him about like somebody asked him like legit. They said like, how do you justify after this last week playing Zeke over Tony Pollard so much? And he said, well, look, Zeke's the engine of our team. Oh, look at my boy Jake here.
He's in the body shop right now.
Yeah. Yeah, my boy Jake. What's up, brother? We'll have to get him on here sometime, man. He's a trip, man. He's a smart dude, super smart dude.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, you're welcome to come on when you want to. But he said something that's like, man, like Zeke is the engine of our team. Like his physicality, the way he punishes defenses, the way he does this, like we go as Zeke goes. I'm sitting there and I'm like dying every time Jerry Jones opens his mouth at this point. I'm just like, oh my God, man, like this guy just can't get out of his own way. Like it is what it is. Like they're a good team, man, but
they're a great defense. That defense is legit.
Oh, it's so good. But how do you look at this weekend and still just be like, Zeke's the engine of our team? Like,
look, I have been in the Zeke over Pollard camp for the last few years when Zeke was healthy, because I believe when Zeke was healthy, he still looked like the running back that he was. I can't imagine playing Pollard over Zeke anymore. Like I really can't. He looks. Right, I can't imagine paying Zeke over Pollard anymore. Like Pollard just looks far and away like the more like he's not going to be what Zeke is from a pass protection standpoint, because Zeke is one of the best in that area. But every other facet of the game, Pollard's better, and that offense needs that. With relying so much on just CeeDee Lamb and still trying to work Gallup back. I know Dalton Schultz is going through some injury issues and stuff like that as well. Like, they need Pollard on the field, and I am also now in the camp of why in the world is Pollard not playing over Zeke? But yeah, I saw the same quote after the game, and I just couldn't help but laugh. Like, it's just the same old Jerry.
Then I mean, I know we got away from it a little bit, but I actually like the deal for the Lions too a little bit because I think they realize the position they're in. T.J. Hawkinson is probably going to get a pretty big tight end deal, I would imagine. They know that they're rebuilding there, so like you garnered more good draft selections, like to keep rebuilding that roster. That's it.
You think they'll have a new head coach next year?
I don't know. I think Dan Campbell might get one. Like people don't understand, like when Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes got there, man. Like that roster was a show. Like
but there was a lot of off-season hype behind that roster.
Yeah, I mean, I was one of them. I thought they would be further along, and their offense, like to the credit, which Dan Campbell is an offensive guy. Their offense is like incredible, like for most of the year. That's not really an issue, but, it's the defense that's kind of rough. And to be fair, like they don't really have a lot of great defensive pieces. Like their secondary is really bad, like really bad. And their pass rush, outside of Aiden Hutchinson, is not really that great either. So they have a lot of, work to do on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, they're still looking for that quarterback. Granted, Jerry Goff's played well, but Drew, all about that. They're probably going to need to draft another guy here. Likely have possibly another number 1 overall pick. So, yeah, I don't think Dan Campbell's like really on the hot seat now. If like this continues into next year, I think that's probably when you would start to look at possibly making a move. But I mean, it's you can't tear a roster down from the bones and fire the coach 2 years into the process. That's just it's not really how it works. Or I mean, to be fair, it does work like that, and that's why some organizations like the Lions consistently stay awful because they make those type of decisions.
Right.
So.
And I will say, for those of you that are in the dynasty community, if you're looking for a pivot off of this, they do have they have a rookie tight end by the name of James Mitchell, really athletic guy. Might be a name to monitor, just as another little nugget out there. Whenever one person leaves, somebody else has to step in. They do have another tight end that's more of a veteran that is technically ahead of him on the depth chart. But I would imagine, as this team being a young team, they're probably going to want to give the young guys some looks. And he's James Mitchell's a talented or like an athletic player. We'll see if it can translate into on-field success. I imagine he would probably start to get some with Hawkinson out the door now. But so just another thing worth looking into if you're in some dynasty leagues and you've got a spot at the end of your bench, might not be a bad stash play just to see how the rest of the year plays out. But no, I mean, I think the deal makes sense for both teams, and kudos to Minnesota on being aggressive whenever they've been off to such a hot start to the year.
Yeah, for sure, and I believe they're the only team in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, that are in top 5 in pass rush win rate and pass block win rate. So they're elite at rushing the passer and stopping the rush.
Zadarius Smith certainly was elite at rushing the passer this past weekend.
Yeah.
He looked awesome.
Yeah, he's been a great addition there. Green Bay could probably use a guy like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, then also, of course, there is the deal. My guy, Nyheim Hines, going to, I don't know what I don't want to call it just Buffalo. Like, it's like he's escaping. Like, you ever watch the cartoon Hercules?
Mm-hmm. The Disney one?
Yeah, the Disney one. And it's like he's down there in like the pit where all the souls are, and that's what the cults are right now. They're the souls with the pits, and he's just aging every time he's down there, and it just looks awful. And now he's on Mount Olympus with Zeus, who is Josh Allen. He climbed out of the pit of despair. He made his way up Mount Olympus, and now he gets to sit on the throne with Josh Allen and Ken Dorsey. So, congratulations,
Jack Moss out of it.
I think I think this is a big deal for Buffalo too. I really do. Because I mean they've been looking for this pass catching running back for this offense. Like they tried to sign J.D. McKissick.
Yeah,
Washington stole him back. They drafted James Cook, who's shown in spurts, but
he
and
needs some development. I
yeah,
mean,
and like they need somebody that can produce
now,
at NFL level right now. And Naeem Hines for the role they're looking for, Naeem Hines can most certainly do that. So,
yeah,
um,
he's
I would
got
expect him to step in pretty much right away and be a producer for this team. Especially, he's for what they want him to do, he's really good at it. So,
extremely one of
so
the best in the league at it.
I think that is I think that's a great addition for
I
Buffalo.
think he almost has, like I've made the comments before about wanting the Colts to utilize him, like I guess San Francisco uses Debo Samuel, like the jet sweep, lining up at wide receiver, consistently trying just to get the ball that guy's hands in space. And I think Ken Dorsey will utilize him like that. I don't know. Now, when I
Yeah.
say that, I'm not saying I think Naheem Hines, because I know how the internet works, because this will be plastered all up on Twitter saying Landon says that Naheem Hines is Debo Samuel. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the type of role they could play in the offensive structure. I would like to see it kind of be similar where you're consistently using these guys, lining them up in the backfield, giving him the ball in jet sweeps, lining him in the slot, lining him out wide, and just letting him create. I mean, the guy's a fantastic route runner as a receiver. He was a wide receiver in college. So, the guy's really good. Sad thing is we got Zach Moss, who might be the best pass blocker on the field. That is a very strong possibility, dude. I believe Zach Moss, has he ever led up a sack? I don't think he's ever led up a sack at running back, if I'm not mistaken.
So we found the thing keeping him around.
Yeah, which, look, that's not. Everybody's focusing on the Zach Moss part of this deal. Way too much.
Shedding the salaries. Is the
Yeah,
reason they
that's the
right?
thing. Well, not only that, but I think a lot of it was just doing right by Naheem Hines, because from like the inside stories and stuff like that is like, he came to them, they promised him a different role, a more, I guess, robust role than what he had last year. Because that was the big complaint last year. It's like they never utilized Naheem Hines. So they said, okay, we're going to utilize you more. We heard to talk all off season with Frank Reich. Like, of course, like all the Colts, that's what they do. They talk. So, Jim Irsay finds a microphone. Frank Reich finds a microphone. Players find a microphone. Everybody loves to talk. So what did Frank Reich tell us? If you're on a fantasy team,
you better draft Naheem
You better draft Naheem Hines, boy, I tell you. And then his usage is actually right around the same ballpark. I believe last year it was at 36%. This year is at 38%. So there's that big fantasy boost that you love to see.
It's free up salary so we can sign Joe Flacco next year. Quarterbacks that are washed at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be like Daniel Jones or somebody. Like, it would have to be like somebody.
He's not old enough.
I would be ecstatic over Daniel Jones being with the Colts opposed to Matt Ryan or Carson Wentz or any.
Well, I mean, Carson Wentz isn't with them right now. Matt Ryan's not playing right now. So
yeah, I know. That's what I'm getting at. Like,
yeah. So I mean, they're doing their thing. I have to update my list of the people Colts gaslit to include Hines as well. Yeah, bro.
Who was it? Reggie Wayne that said Matt Ryan reminded him so much of Peyton Manning it was scary or some shit.
Yeah, it made him sick. Yeah, there was that. And then of course Jim Irsay said the Peyton Manning thing. Literally said the Peyton Manning quote right before the Tennessee game, and he got benched right after that.
Oh man.
Yeah, like 2 days after Irsay was comparing him to Peyton Manning, he gets benched, which everybody assumes that's an Irsay decision. But there's just a lot of talk, and that starts with owner, which is something it's frustrating. But
any other big trades that we haven't talked about that we need to?
I think we covered most of
that was most of the highlights.
Yeah, most of the big ones here. Live update of transactions.
I know there were some other minor trades, but I think that was the majority of.
Yeah, I know Brandon Cooks didn't get dealt, and
yeah,
he
that
has
was
something interesting to say on
that
the
was
old.
really surprising that he didn't get dealt. I really thought that he would get moved.
Did you see his tweet?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Kareem Hunt, I was kind of surprised to see he didn't get moved.
Especially too, like the Browns were looking for a 4th-round pick.
Yeah, I feel like that he would be worth a 4th rounder for a team that needs running back help.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, look, it's in-season deals. You're always going to be pressed up against, I guess, like panicking whenever you make in-season deals. So that's why you see a lot of these deals go for. I mean, unless you're like a player like Bradley Chubb, like who's a premier player at a premier position. Yeah, I mean, like nobody like Kareem Hunt. Is he a good running back? Yes. Like,
you're never a running back away.
You're never a running. Exactly. You're never a running back away. And so when people are like getting on here and they're like, well, because I said it last night on I made a post last night and I said, probably look for a 5th-round pick for Hines. And boy, did people not like that last night. There were a lot of.
Wait, thought you were going to get more than that?
Yes. I mean, like, look, they're fans.
Oh, man. I know.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, they're fans. So, like, their players are always better than everybody else's players.
Right,
So,
it's like the whole fantasy football thing where the guys on your roster always have more value.
Yeah. It's just like fantasy football. The guys on your roster they're really highly valued. They're great players. Why would
I be rostering them if they suck?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, why would I love And I'm not saying Nyheim Hines was a bad player or anything, but look,
no,
he's a specialist. He's a 3rd down specialist who is utilized in gadget packages. He's a special teams player who was also paid top 10 running back money whenever he got his deal. You are not getting more than a 5th round. Like, you are lucky to get the package you got. Because there were some teams that were offering like 6th round picks. So it could have been worse. We got the conditional 6th that can turn into a 5th. I still don't know the details. They haven't been released. And then they got Zach Moss too, because Jonathan Taylor. Say what you want about Zach Moss. We all know, but Jonathan Taylor is. Yeah, well, like Jonathan Taylor's banged up right now. He's got the turf toe. He's got the ankle sprain. He re-aggravated it this last week as well, against Washington. So the running back, they need depth at that position. And if you're trading away a running back, just like in fantasy football, because of attrition, you usually want to get one back, even though they might not be the best one. You want the depth. It's all about depth at the position. So Zach Moss was not the key in this. The key in this was, first, shedding the salary, getting a pick. That's what it's always about. The second is they wanted to do right by this dude. They wanted to do right by Nyheim Hines. That's a guy they promised an increased role for. It didn't happen. I know, football's a business and it sucks, and I get that. But, they could have very easily just called around and said, like, hey, we'll send you wherever the hell we want to send you. But no, they sent him to a roster that's ready to compete with a quarterback that, he finally has stability at quarterback, which is something he's talked about for over the last year or two now, where, they're constantly having to go for a new quarterback. That's something he's been very vocal about. I don't think Buffalo is benching Josh Allen anytime soon or moving on. Unless, it's just the Colts' bad luck and heaven forbid Josh Allen decides to retire next week, because that happens. But yeah, I don't think there's really any other like crazy trades that have happened.
No, I think that was most of them.
Yeah, which I mean, like I said, normally the NFL trade deadline is dead, so you don't hardly hear anything. You get like the Rashad Fenton news, like, and that's your big move for the trade deadline in the NFL. But I feel like I was watching the NBA today, and I was like, damn, big name, damn, big name, damn, big name.
Yeah.
Okay, like here we go. So I'm excited, man. It's going to be a lot of cool stuff. A lot of teams seem like they're going all in on some of these pieces. Some of these teams selling and finally starting a rebuild. So
it seems like teams are more open to dealing picks now than they ever have been.
I know the Rams, wanted to send their 2 first-rounders for Bradley Chubb, for
Brian
I'm thinking
Burns.
what, yeah, and like their first rounder in like 2043 and 2046.
Yeah, the
That they
guys
had, like,
that they were giving up picks for are currently in like 7th grade right now.
yeah.
Yeah, no, they were gonna they offered their 24 and 25 first for Brian Burns, and I would have been fucking thrilled
Brian
if they
Burns
would
or Chubb? Was it? No,
Brian
it was
Burns.
Burns. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Burns.
It was they I think I don't even know if they ended up offering a first for Chubb. I know they were in discussions for him, but I don't know if they
Right.
ended up offering a first. But they did offer 2 firsts for Burns, and I would have been all about that, considering how young that dude still is and how elite of a pass rusher he is. You would have been able to sign me up for that one all day. But they they were weirdly quiet at the deadline, so it's going to be weird to see how that shakes out. No Von Miller this year. So
Well, I
I'm
mean, to be fair, unless they could block, I don't know. You guys really needed to make too big of a move there.
I mean, they definitely could have used a pass rusher. I mean, granted, Leonard Floyd had a couple sacks this weekend finally, but prior to that, outside of Aaron Donald, they basically have had just as bad of a pass rush as they have in terms of blocking. So they need some work on both sides of the line, and could have addressed that, but they're also not one pass rusher away from fixing all their issues either. So um, I don't know. Have you ever seen? I'm really interested to see if they actually hold on to their first round picks, and I get to see the Rams pick on day one here in a couple years. This upcoming draft, the 2023 draft, is the last pick involved with Matthew Stafford, and then 2024 and beyond, they pretty much have their full slate of picks. So uh, we'll see. Maybe they're
What
going
was
back
that,
to the.
man? Like, who was the guy that was on Twitter? I can't remember who it was. It was like one of like the bigger, check mark guys, and he was saying something about like the Rams have burned. Like, look at the Rams roster today, and look at the way they've utilized all their picks, and you realize why they're in the position they're in. And everybody in the comments was just like defending Super Bowl champions, like question mark, like that's the position they're in, like yeah, like this year's
The
probably not
process
going
worked.
but yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, but yeah, he was just like, yeah, you see how they don't have any young players, and their roster is aging, and it's injury riddled, and they're you see why they're in the position they're in because of the way that their picks were handled, and everybody in the comments are just like shredding this guy. I think he might have deleted the post, honestly, which I would
That's
say.
I didn't see that. That's
Oh,
funny
man,
though.
if he hasn't deleted it, I'm gonna look for it and find it, and I'll tag you in it because it's fucking gold.
That is funny. I would look at the position they're in.
Yeah, look at now you see why they're in the position they're in, and everybody's like, what position are they in?
Yeah,
Like,
we had to drop a fucking Super
oh
Bowl
no,
banner on the first week of the season, man. It's a rough position to be in.
yeah.
A tough life for sure.
I shit. You guys wanna talk Eagles and Texans? A little Thursday night football action.
Yeah, let's get into it.
We're ready to hop into it. All right. Well, this should be just a exciting matchup to kick off the week with no clue who's going to win this one. Um, yeah, I really don't know how to dress this game up. To be honest, Houston is so bad. Philly is so good. I mean, like, I don't know, man.
Well, the good thing is the Texans don't have to face Derrick Henry this week.
That's true. That is true. Damian Pierce gets another tough matchup against the Eagles defense, though. They're a team that haven't made the playoffs in decades. I think the Rams are fine with their position. Yeah. Yeah, we also went just over a decade without having a winning record. So yeah, I would much rather watch my team continue to give away their picks and put together a team that's making the playoffs over. The Rams did the whole keep your picks, draft and build it the right way. They did all that bullshit for like a decade, and it got them. It got us Jeff Fisher and a bunch of 7-9 seasons. So I'm perfectly content with with their current roster building strategy, and will gladly see it all the way to its end. I have no complaints whatsoever. But But yeah, as far as this one goes, I can't imagine Davis Mills having much, if any, success against the Eagles secondary, considering he had none against the Titans secondary this past week, who is a much less threatening group than the Eagles. So I imagine the Eagles probably get up pretty big and do the thing they do, where they just get up big in the first half and then coast to the second half. That is my game breaking big brain analysis of this awful Thursday night game.
Man, it's Eagles by 28.
This could be, man, like
Jalen Hurts does not play the fourth quarter. It lets every fantasy owner down because this is the Miles Sanders 3-touchdown game, and then they just play ball control. Jalen Hurts don't play fourth quarter, and my fantasy team loses. This is what this game is going to do right here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The NFL's weird. This could be one of those weird games where
No, it ain't that weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird,
we said that last year. Then Buffalo got
beat by Jacksonville
6-3 in Jacksonville. So.
That's like the one game that keeps me holding on that maybe something weird like that could happen. But
man,
God, these teams just feel like they're on such opposite ends of the spectrum right now.
They are.
I can't imagine Philly slipping that hard. But like you said, we would have never expected Buffalo to slip against Jacksonville last year, and they did. So
that's true. With me saying that, I'm picking the Eagles. So I'm not. yeah. Like I don't want to get this twisted. I'm not going for the Texans here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go Birds.
Yeah. Go Birds.
That's all I ever think about now.
I know. Every time I think about the Eagles, I just think of that.
Right in that lady's face.
Right in that lady's face in that Vikings game. It's one of the funniest things of all time. Yeah. That's replaced with because for a long time it was always them throwing snowballs and cussing out Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Like where Santa Claus was there. And I always used to, when I thought of the Eagles, I always used to thought about them pelting Santa Claus and like flipping him off. And being like, oh yeah, like that's the Eagles right there. And now like that guy has single-handedly replaced that memory. Every time I think of the Eagles, I think of two things. I think of that EDP 445 guy who got in like that all the trouble. Like
oh yeah, I remember him.
Because of the Chip Kelly rant he made, where he was like Chip Kelly. That was one of the greatest rants of all time. And then I always think of the Go Birds guy, and it's endearing. Like that, I think it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I love thinking about that video.
Yeah,
it makes me happy every single time.
I'm all about trolling. Like that level of troll is just incredible. Like if she's gonna go full Karen on you, like just lean into it. Like Go Birds. Beautiful. All right, let's get on to our next matchup here. Let's see what we got. Oh, God damn it. Here we go.
Yep, here you go.
Here we go.
So right. I'm going to be completely honest with you. The Colts game was in the same slate that the Rams-Niners game was in this week. So I watched very little of the Colts game this week. So I can't really add. I watched a decent amount of the Pats game, but I can't really speak on the Colts very much, which I know you guys have me covered. So,
yeah, well, you didn't miss much. I don't know, Jared, did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched Taylor Heineke. Tyler, I don't even know what his name is.
Taylor Heineke.
I watched Terry McLaurin, who has resurrected from the dead the last 2 weeks. It's amazing what happens.
Against Jair Alexander and Stephon Gilmore. By the way, the last 2 weeks.
I did see he staked his claim on his city in the dome. I didn't realize that was a homecoming game. Why didn't you guys tell me about this revenge narrative? I would have played him in DFS.
Yeah.
You always got to play the revenge narratives. It doesn't matter how weird they are.
Yeah, it completely blanked from my mind. I knew it was happening, but I just never thought about it. But good news is if you want full breakdowns, like Drew, you didn't watch the game, so if you want some breakdown,
I plan on making a stroll over to your Twitter account. For sure.
I was gonna say you can follow me at Landon3MR. I do. have a little bit. Also, some really good content as well. A lot of people. I know my guy Andrew Moore NFL at Andrew Moore NFL. He's doing some stuff right now with Sam. Going to be going on. So shout out to him. Go give him a follow. And one of my favorite guys in all of football, who I love listening to, is JT O'Sullivan with the Quarterback School. He posted a Sam Ehlinger video today as well. So if you want some like really in-depth breakdown that's way out of my area of expertise, go check that guy out.
He makes some good content.
Yeah, man, he's awesome. So there's plenty of Sam stuff to go around, and Colt stuff and how things looked. But at the end of the day, Sam Ehlinger came in, everything looks cool. They moved the ball up and down the field. And then it's just the same old Colts. They find ways to beat themselves. Sam Ehlinger sacked, fumbled, in the red zone, turnover. Washington goes down the field, kicks field goal. Colts march right back down the field. Red zone, Jonathan Taylor, fumble. In the red zone.
JT fumbled?
Yes, JT fumbled.
Yeah.
If you want to know like how bad it's going right now, that's how bad it's going.
Yeah.
So it's a team that they can't get out of their own way. It's been incredible to watch. Like, this is truly the perfect model of what's the saying? Like, like teams like, they beat them, like they didn't lose the game, they didn't win the game, they lost the game or something like that. Like, the other team didn't win the game, this team lost the game. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
The Colts are literally the perfect example of that this year. I mean, it's all year. Just constant turnovers in the red zone, constant sacks. I mean, Sam Ehlinger had like a 20, 25-yard run. They got called back on a holding call that so it was to the left side. So it was, strong side, takes off, boom, goes like 20, 25 yards. The right guard, Matt Pryor, who I could do an entire hour-long podcast on that guy. He gets called for a hold. He wasn't even like in the play, and he gets called for a hold, and it brings it back. And it's just like, man, like every time this team has any momentum, dude, every time. I mean, it's just boom, like something bad happens. So yeah, man, yeah, exactly, Jake. Yeah, bad teams find ways to lose. Yeah,
that's a pretty easy way to put it.
Yep. That's what they are. They're a bad football team.
I'll tell you this much, man. I am nervous for what old Bill's got cooking for Sam.
Oh, God. I made that point earlier today. I was like, man,
because he made Zach Wilson look bad this past week, man.
Also, Zach Wilson, so.
Yeah, but like Zach Wilson hasn't been putting up gaudy numbers, but he hasn't been turning the ball over a ton either. And I think he threw 3 picks this week.
Bro, he threw like 2 of those.
It could have been like 5 picks. Like,
man,
there was
2 of those
at
passes
least
he made.
One that was
2 of those interceptions he made was just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, there's nobody even over there.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, Zach Wilson hasn't been playing great, and I've been one of the people on here saying that I didn't think that he had, like, they had a good record obviously, but I didn't think he was a very big reason for it. Not that I was alone in that thought process.
Didn't they still win that game though?
Or did they win? No, the Pats won.
Okay. I don't know if I watched too much. I mean, I will be tomorrow because I've got to break down New England film. So
yeah, the defense was impressive. Mac Jones still looks. It seems like that they have just all the way fucked up his confidence now. I mean, it's just so.
Oh, you mean Matt Patricia hasn't done a good job?
Yeah, I know. Hiring a defensive guy that wasn't even that good at that as your offensive coordinator, and then bringing him in, benching him, bringing him in.
Josh McDaniels, like everybody now is like, man, I think the Raiders are a bad football team. I think the Raiders. I think their coaches aren't that great. And it's just like, oh, Josh McDaniels is a bad coach. You're kidding me.
Yeah, he was probably better suited to be a coordinator.
Who could have ever seen that coming? I have no idea.
But yeah. So the Patriots offense, they're still outside. Ramondre Stevenson's been incredible. That's what. If you didn't get to watch much of the Jets game, I can't wait for you to see the clinic Ramondre Stevenson put on. I'm pretty sure he was credited for more yards after contact than he had total rushing yards. Like the dude, and then on top of that, he was their best pass catching weapon. Like, he was a machine out there on Sunday. So I'm excited for you to get to see that. But outside of that, there wasn't a lot going on for New England on offense either. It was just it was another defensive clinic put on by Bill and Ramondre Stevenson putting the team on his back.
Well, the good news, I guess, for Bill is he gets to face the Colts offense, which means he has a bye week this week. Doesn't have to game plan that hard. He can literally just sit back and wait for them to shoot themselves in the foot. He doesn't have to do anything; they'll do it themselves. It's pretty easy. So, plus it's in Foxborough too. We know his record against rookie quarterbacks. Like, if Sam can come out this game even looking average, like, you don't have to look good, just look average. Like, I'm very, very encouraged. Which I was encouraged. He did some good things. He did some bad things. I mean, I don't know.
Was it nice having a quarterback that could move around a little bit?
You'll see it. You'll see it whenever you go on my Twitter and you look at some of the videos. Yeah, like it was awesome. He did a lot of really good things in that game. Like, he gave them a chance to win. They did everything they could to lose, and he did basically everything he could to keep them in it.
The Colts are, according to Vegas right now, the lowest scoring team on Sunday.
Oh, they had the lowest implied team total?
17 points.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense.
They averaged 16.
Isn't that what they scored this week, too, was 16?
Yeah.
Well, hey, there's something you can say about the Colts offense. At least they're consistent.
Right.
Yeah. Consistently bad.
Yep. Doesn't matter who's at quarterback. Doesn't matter who's at running back. It doesn't matter. They'll find a way to lose. So
of course this will be the week against Bill in Foxborough. They're going to put up 40.
No.
I mean, like, what sucks
but...
about it, man, is like Frank Reich had like a couple questionable things, but like everybody's killing him for this game, and like his play designs were like fantastic for most of that game. Like he did a fantastic job, like building that offense on a short week, or not like a short week, but like on short notice, I guess, around Sam Ehlinger. Like, they did a lot of really good stuff. And like I said, I mean, it was it really is this simple. Look, the Colts, when they stay even with the turnover margin right now, so we're talking about either they're even with the turnover margin or they don't turn the ball over at all.
Right.
They are 3-0. 3-0. They haven't lost a game where they've been even with the turnover margin. Whenever they get past that, they're 0-4-1. That's the key to the game. That's why they're losing so many games, is the turnovers. So yeah, if they go into New England and they don't have a single turnover with the way they were moving the ball against Washington this week, I think they do have a chance to win. But as every week has shown us, they will find a way to turn the ball over, either on the goal line, in the red zone, in the other team's goal line. Yeah.
You got some more Frank support.
Well, I mean, like, it's true. Like, everybody wants to blame. Like, you know how it is, Drew. Where like everybody's just like, this one reason, in quotation marks, like this insert one reason here is sucks. Like, this is the scapegoat, and like, I mean, there's a combination of a lot of things, and like that go into it. Like, tight end blocking was bad. Wide receiver blocking was bad. Michael Pittman dropped some passes. Michael Pittman took a bad angle on a touchdown, like that didn't end up getting into the end zone. Stopped him at the 1 yard line. It was a bad angle. I mean, it's like there's so many things that go into winning and losing football games that people don't really think of. I mean, they just see like the base stats, which, I mean, like, it's normal fans. Like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because that's normal people. Most people aren't obsessed with this game to the level that like we are. Like, I'm like, they're not going to do the breakdowns. They see the score, the win and the loss, and then they say it's the head coach, or it's the GM, or it's the general manager. When in reality, it's like there's a combination of so like hundreds of different factors that go into winning and losing a football game. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's, you know, it sucks because, like I said, I think Frank Reich had one of his best like coaching games of his career. Like, I thought it was fantastic, the stuff he put out there. They just got unlucky, man. Like, you know, he can do everything he can. He can put the players in position to succeed. If they don't execute, or if they turn the ball over, if they fumble, he can't control it. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. Like, at the end of the day, the players have to go out and execute it. So, Yeah, and that's what happened Sunday. Players didn't execute. Guys didn't step up and do their jobs correctly. What happens? Turn the ball over, you lose the ball game. So, New England, as we know, usually a very disciplined team. They don't turn the ball over. If anything, they cause turnovers. Jack Jones has been fantastic. They'll play really tough defense. He's going to disguise multiple things. With the way the offensive line is blocking, they probably don't even have to worry about the run game with Jonathan Taylor. So I think the run blocking has improved over the last couple weeks. So I mean, it's not like it's as bad as it was through the first 6, but it's still not good. It's more like below average as far as like worse than the league. So if they end up, to me, what I would do is you take away Michael Pittman, you take away Alec Pierce, you take away Sam's options, and to throw the ball, make them have to run the ball with that bad offensive line. And there's some hosses on that defense, man. Like Dietrich Wise is a beast. Matthew Judon is a beast. Like they have some good players on their D line. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough week for Sam, man. What did he say here? People comment on my FOMO post, so the coach is supposed to coach them not to do that.
if only Frank would have thought of that.
Yeah, exactly. Ellinger's a prime example of that. Sacks are largely a quarterback stat because strong pocket. Yeah, I mean he moved around the pocket. They were only attributed to like 2 sacks, I think, on the whole day. And he was constant. I mean, he was under pressure, like he was just constantly moving around. So, it was a big difference. So, yeah, the coach is supposed to coach them not to do that.
If only poor old Frank would have.
If only Frank thought about that. That's a great line. I'm going to use that one next time. If only Frank Reich thought about that. They just went to fumble. Duh. So, all right, let's pick this game, boys. Who we got here?
I'm taking the Pats, man.
Yeah. I'm going New England too. Tank game going strong, boys. Yeah, tank game's going strong.
Speaking of tank game, which one of these teams is tanking?
If there was ever a game for the Green Bay Packers to show any kind of like pulse on offense, this is the game. Like it's
surely right.
It's so maddening. Like I feel so bad for Aaron Rodgers. Like I truly
don't. I don't feel bad for Aaron Rodgers.
Why?
Why do you feel bad for Aaron Rodgers, man?
Because he's playing good football, but he's just not getting any help out there. Like it is. I mean, it's like watching Tampa. It's like he's making the throws, but like these guys just like they're not on time with their routes. Like I mean, I think I've brought it up before on this show. Like there's been numerous examples of whenever he's like in like a 5-step drop or something like that, where he hits that 5 and the ball's supposed to boom be out. This is your read. This guy's supposed to be open. That guy's not even in his break yet. So I mean, like at that point, you're just like, what? Like, what do you put that on the quarterback?
Yeah, it's definitely not Rodgers' fault. I don't feel bad for him because he's I don't have any feelings toward Aaron Rodgers.
I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he's hilarious.
But I do agree that he is most certainly not the problem.
No, he's not the problem. I don't feel bad for Aaron Rodgers.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah.
I do. He's a quarterback. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Let me have my quarterback apologies.
Landon's 32. If you asked Landon to list his 32 favorite NFL players, it would just be the 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Well, yeah. Leave my quarterbacks alone. All right, they don't do anything. It's the people around them. Do your job. Help your guys out. Damn it.
But yeah, you would have to think, like, despite the lack of weapons, despite them not going and getting a receiver at the deadline, like, surely the Detroit Lions defense can finally give Aaron Rodgers something to be happy about. and maybe he can go at least 1 week without throwing somebody under the bus in a post-game interview.
I believe they fired their secondary coach too this week or today.
They did, yeah. Aubrey Pleasant. Yeah, they did.
Who was actually pretty highly thought of as well.
Yeah, and he had Jeff Okudah going from a complete bust to a lockdown corner, so that felt like a weird person to target.
They were the number 1 ranked passing defense up until they faced Buffalo this week. I'm pretty sure, weren't they?
Well, that's
you're thinking of. I think you're thinking of Green Bay. Where Aubrey Pleasant.
Oh, you're talking about.
He's
You're talking about the line.
the
the
Lions.
line.
Yeah, the Lions secondary coach was fired.
Which the secondary has been bad.
He said, "Well, I was waiting on it."
The secondary
I can see that look on his face. I was like, "I know Jared's gonna say something."
The secondary has been bad, but Aubrey Pleasant is a very well-respected coach, and myself included. I'm not putting people in a grouping here, but people, including myself, were ready to write Jeff Okudah off. Like he looked awful, and the dudes turned around and had a really great season. So it's like, I don't really know if your secondary coach is the whole problem to your defense necessarily, but I guess you got to start somewhere. Somebody's got to get fired. Somebody has to be held accountable. So it's just yeah. I'm kind of hoping the Rams bring him back because that's where he went over.
Yeah, this is the best comment we've got on this show. Outside of like when our boy was telling us about his college offers, this is my favorite quote so far. Drew, here we go.
All right, let's see it.
Commit to the tank. Levis season. Levis season. I love it. I'm all about some Will Levis, man. I know he looked bad against Tennessee, but
most people have this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not only that, if you ever want to if you know anything about offensive football or football in general, and you have like a working brain, if you ever want to stop that brain from working, go watch the way UK's offense is playing.
Kentucky's offensive play calling is so annoying.
Oh, it is disgusting.
It took such a step back whenever I just went blank. Why can't I think of his name? Yeah, he's the Rams offensive coordinator.
I would say he's literally your
I don't know why I can't go Liam Cohen. I don't know why that completely escaped me, but yeah, whenever Liam Cohen left, apparently the offense left with him because this is just a complete snore fest to watch right now. Especially whenever you have an NFL
run up the gut, 3rd and long. Please save us, Will Levis. Why this screen?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
You have a literal unicorn, or not like unicorn. I won't say that, but he's a specimen at the quarterback position, and I just refuse to let him loose. I just don't understand it. And then you're constantly putting him in bad situations, bad play calling. There's no offensive line. It's terrible. But anyway, let's get back to the game. Yeah. Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions. The good news is my boy Alan Lazard is safe another week now, or at least another year.
I can't believe he survived.
Wide receiver 1, Alan Lazard, the lizard, is back.
The bit continues.
Yep, he's safe another year, boys. We're riding that train.
That's probably why the Packers didn't trade for. That's probably why the Packers didn't trade for another receiver.
How can you feel bad for Aaron Rodgers when he has
Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers went to him.
That's all he has.
Get somebody that's better than him.
Oh, come on. I mean, Alan Lazard is a generational talent at the wide receiver position.
He's a generational run blocker. He's fantastic run blocker. Love Alan Lazard. I love watching Alan Lazard play. It's like watching a mini It's like George Pickens if he couldn't catch. You know how George Pickens punks guys at the line and he just pushes them, he just mauls them. That's what Alan Lazard does. I love watching.
So far, we have complimented a running back that blocks really well, and we've complimented a wide receiver that blocks really well.
Big fan.
As a Colts fan, Jared, you should realize the importance of blocking.
I imagine the Detroit Lions are probably going to get very well acquainted with Aaron Jones after all the work he saw against Buffalo. I can't imagine him being any less busy, considering their lack of weapons and the trust that Aaron Rodgers has in him, and then the fact that Aaron Rodgers has showed us that if he trusts somebody, he will just give them the ball over and over and over and over and over. So I imagine Aaron Jones is probably going to be a pretty busy man on Sunday and a pretty successful one considering the lack of defense that he's going to be going up against. But yeah, I can't imagine the Packers are struggling so bad that they can't beat Detroit. So I'm going to roll with the Packers on this one.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where I want to go.
This shouldn't be difficult. I'm not
It,
blaming you for it being difficult, but it shouldn't be, which is
it
how bad of a
shouldn't
spot we're
be.
in right now.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, but it is because like I just don't know what Green Bay's doing. You know what? Just for my mother, I love you. I'm gonna take the Packers. This is literally just for my mom. I don't feel good about this. She's a big Packers fan, so
There you go.
yeah. Don't say I don't believe in you. All right, a few more matchups to go here, guys.
Oh, do I get to pick a team?
Yeah, we gotta let Jared tell us if he's picking Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I thought he already picked.
No.
Oh, do it.
Oh, I got the Packers.
Oh, that suspense.
Shoot.
Oh, okay.
I got the Falcons. Actually, you know what?
It's the. Hold on, did they win this week? Did they beat Carolina?
Yeah, they fucking won.
That's right. They did. Who's first place, baby? Big Arthur coming in.
It's amazing the year that Matt Ryan's having. He's got the Atlanta Falcons in first place in the NFC South. Oh, wait a second. He's not there anymore. They have a mobile quarterback, right?
The Falcons should have lost that game like 4 different times, man. It's so annoying. And the fact that people want to bitch and I know that. Well, yeah,
progress.
It is progress. I'll take it. I'll take that part. He finally threw the fucking ball a few times whenever he was forced to, instead of just running the ball 50 times while being down 21 points. But I know we're not talking about the Panthers right now, but just because it was the Falcons-Panthers game, to all you people out there, I want to look directly in the camera. Every single person that was mad at DJ Moore for catching that incredible touchdown to put them in a position to win the game, an unbelievable touchdown in a year, hell, in a 2-3 year window where the offense has just been non-existent. He's finally getting some production, and he catches an incredible game-winning touchdown. God forbid the guy shows a little bit of fucking emotion. He shows you he cares a little bit. He takes off his helmet in excitement, and he gets a penalty. And you guys are mad at fucking DJ Moore. First of all, that shouldn't be a penalty. It should not be a penalty to be excited about making a play.
Not only that, he took it off outside of the field of play. He wasn't on the field.
Right.
Yeah.
And then second of all, just make the fucking kick. Yeah, you're back a little bit farther, but you're an NFL kicker. Make the fucking kick.
Kickers suck. Kickers suck.
Yeah, like everybody should just have to go for 2.
Yeah, exactly. Let's stop with the kicker shit.
But
go
yeah,
for 2 like a man.
I hated seeing the slander that DJ Moore was getting for that. Like, dude, did you just see the play that he fucking made? You don't want him to be excited?
Let that throw.
I wish if PJ Walker would have made 1 or 2 more like that instead of one of the throws he made for a pick 6, they wouldn't have lost the fucking game. Got Arthur Smith out here fucking surviving. Kickers are pointless.
Exactly.
You know what? You were right, Landon. This Jake guy is pretty smart.
I told you, dude. He's smart. He knows ball.
This guy knows ball, confirmed. But yeah,
how about my boy PJ Walker?
I wish he would have just made one less mistake, because that awful pick 6 he threw is basically the difference in this game. Like, that's what people are going to point to.
Well, also Marcus Mariota's legs.
Marcus Mariota should have lost them that game. I'm so fucking sick of Marcus Mariota. I'm sick of Marcus Mariota. I'm sick of Arthur Smith.
I like Marcus, okay?
And they're not. And it's nothing against Marcus Mariota, the person. I'm sure he's a great guy. He'd probably be a joy to have lunch. He'd probably be a joy to have lunch with. I'd love to hold a charity function with him, have some lunch, whatever. I don't want to watch him play football anymore. I'm over it. I'm over it, man. I'm so tired of watching him play football. There's nothing exciting about it.
It's exciting.
He's exciting.
Yes, dude. I love watching Marcus Mariota play. He's one of my favorite 32 players in football.
There we go.
He's number 32.
No, he's definitely not 32. I can promise you that. Who would be 32? Who would be my least favorite quarterback to watch play football? Oh, man. Even Zach Wilson's a little exciting because you never know what you're going to get. I mean,
He's the Forrest Gump of quarter. Look, you're struggling so hard. You're like, damn.
To look at to find a bad quarterback. This is how you know it's bad. It's like I'm struggling to find a bad quarterback.
I like all the backup quarterbacks.
Yeah. All right, hold on.
The answer is Marcus Mariota.
It's not Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, if you're being honest with yourself, it is.
My least favorite quarterback to watch in the NFL.
If you're being honest with yourself, it is.
We're not going to go that far. Let's see here. I like Lamar. I like
Davis Mills, maybe? Is that like...
He's pretty awful.
Something to it.
He got the only thing he got going for him is he got a long ass neck.
That's part of why I like watching him, though.
Jesus Christ!
Andy Dalton.
God doesn't like about quarterbacks.
Oh no, Andy Dalton's more fun to watch than Marcus Mariota.
I would absolutely watch Andy.
Oh, Dalton. Wrong. Drew, you'll appreciate this answer. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. That can be number 32.
Yeah, he would probably be 32. Like I'm not a huge fan of watching Garoppolo, but I still think he's effective.
Christian McCaffrey hit a longer pass.
I was gonna say he's not even the best quarterback.
Yeah, he's not the best quarterback who's on a roster because that's Christian McCaffrey. So I mean, the Falcons do have a game against the Chargers this week, though. And I, for one, can't wait to watch the Chargers just beat the shit out of the Falcons. And I can't wait for this to once again blow up on me and the Falcons somehow win this game 17-13. I hate everything.
You are picking the Chargers, in all fairness. Yeah. I had them in the Super Bowl, so I
had them one game away. So you were not alone on the Chargers hype. I had them one game away. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever been more annoyed watching a team somehow continue to win games than I have been with the Falcons. None of it makes sense.
They continue to win games, and the Chargers continue to lose games.
Beat the fucking 49ers, man. I've watched the 49ers sweep the Rams for 4 fucking years now in the regular season, but somehow they can't figure out how to beat the fucking Falcons. Even they can't figure it out. Arthur Smith's like, nope, can't solve me. I'm a fucking magician. Like, I
hope the Falcons.
I do have a question. I hope
the Falcons win this division so bad. I really
have a full fucking meltdown.
I know you will. I'm gonna send.
None of it makes sense.
I'm gonna send an edible arrangement over to your house if the Falcons win.
Send me different edibles.
The good edible arrangements.
Nothing they do makes sense to win football games in 2022, and yet they're leading a division. But they don't do anything right other than some of the running schemes are nice, but why are they still winning games? What the fuck, man?
You know what they have that no one else in that division has?
What's that?
It's Mariota.
A mobile quarterback.
Oh, goddamn right. Let's go.
I mean, not anymore because PJ Walker's yeah, he's mobile too.
Yeah, and they were fighting for first place.
Yeah, and they were.
That's true.
Apparently, that's the key. You just need to have a mobile quarterback. Doesn't matter how bad.
I mean, look at the Colts. Look at Tampa Bay. Look at all these teams that have these statues back there, man. They're not winning games. It's over. Like, the year of the pocket quarterback is done. It's mobile quarterbacks from here on out. It's freaks like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Burrow can run if he needs to. Like, it's time. We're hashtag don't pay running backs. It's hashtag if you're 30 years old, you're out of the league, basically. Like it's to that point, man.
Oh, what a time to be alive.
Geno Smith is in first place in there,
I can't wait. Is Seattle on bye this week?
He's mobile.
And he's also really
okay.
good.
We're talking about the Seahawks in the next. I can't wait. I'll just say this. I can't wait to talk about Geno. I cannot wait to talk about Geno tomorrow.
Hey, Drew, off the subject of this game, I got a question for you before I forget because I don't know this guy at all. So, Ronnie Rivers, what are we going to do with him at running back?
Just another useless body that is that
Special
going
teams.
to be able to do. He took the first snap at the of the game, and like he was the starting running back for the Rams this week. But
Oh Jesus!
it's not going to matter because none of the running backs they have on the roster are going to be all that effective, and then the offensive line, especially from a run blocking perspective, pass blocking hit or miss. Run blocking is almost non-existent. So it doesn't really matter who they have back there. But Darrell Henderson isn't the answer. Ronnie Rivers isn't the answer. Malcolm Brown isn't the answer. I still fully believe 100%. I will die on this hill. Cam Akers is the most talented running back on that roster. He might not be fully himself yet, and certainly coming off an Achilles injury, you would like to have better than the 31st ranked run offense to be involved in. But I still think a healthy, fully involved, fully bought in Cam Akers is the best running back on this team. And talent wise, I don't think that any of these guys really come close to him. But
so
Cam
is Cooper
Akers,
Kupp okay?
Yeah,
Questionable.
yeah. It's a day-to-day thing. He'll be fine. He'll go out there and play.
That's all I care.
Yeah, no, yeah. Coop will be fine. But that was another unfortunate one. He shouldn't have even been out there whenever he got hurt.
Yeah. I mean, we don't care about running backs.
No, we don't. But yeah, no. Make nothing of Ronnie Rivers starting the game because it's going to be a committee of running backs that don't matter. The last shot in the dark is we'll see what happens with Kyron Williams whenever he gets activated off IR eventually. For whatever reason, the Rams wanted to have him involved. Like they apparently week 1 he was going to be involved, and
was
then
he a third round pick?
No, he was later than a third. I think he was either a late day 2 pick or he was a day 3 pick. Okay. I can't remember which one. But supposedly, like there was a report that came out before the Buffalo game week 1 that he was going to be heavily involved in the game plan.
Yeah, I keep seeing stuff on him.
But literally first play of the game, kick return, the dude
I was
hurt.
not. Well, I think you weren't either whenever we were doing our college breakdowns of drafts. Like, neither one of us were huge fans of him. So.
No, I think his football speed is a little bit better than his combine speed. But his testing numbers aren't good. He doesn't like it, if you look at his
he doesn't really break tackles.
No,
I don't know.
He seems honestly, one of his best attributes in college is he was great in pass pro.
Look at this, baby.
The Rams need anybody they can get to block right now.
Yeah.
So
same thing with the Colts. Everybody's mad about Zach Moss, but I don't know. Maybe he can play offensive line.
Yeah, but I do think, in all seriousness, the Falcons secondary, especially whenever AJ Terrell isn't out there, like the Falcons secondary has basically been a get right game for every quarterback in the league, other than Jimmy Garoppolo. So I would imagine coming off a bye, getting healthier, like Justin Herbert, he had the rib things and stuff like that, but coming off the bye, getting healthier,
back.
He should have Keenan Allen back. He'll be without Mike Williams, so one step forward, one step back.
It's the Chargers,
but the Falcons is a get right game for quarterbacks. Landon, if you love quarterbacks, you should love the Falcons defense because they're very kind to quarterbacks. And so I would expect Herbert to bounce back in a big way.
I will be watching this game.
Out of the bye.
I cannot wait to watch Justin Herbert. I missed him this last week.
Yeah, I did too. It'll be good to get him back. We can throw a fit at the fact that he.
What are you gonna do if Atlanta wins, Drew?
I'm not prepared to answer that right now.
I'm rooting for him so hard. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Spoiler alert.
Uh-oh.
Got the Falcons to win this game.
Oh, Big Jared!
I have no faith in the Chargers at all. They find ways to lose games. Like,
aren't they 4-3?
Yeah.
They're game
over 500. They're a game over 500. But they figure out ways to lose, man. Like, they keep games, like they keep teams in it way too much. They'll flirt around. Atlanta's feeling the high right now. They're going to win this game.
I don't know, man, because, I don't really – it's hard for me to really blame the Chargers for that stuff because, literally, their entire team is on IR.
They're coached. They're not very well coached. I think Brandon Staley got a lot of credit that was not really deserved.
I don't agree. I think he was fantastic with the Rams, but at the same time, like how many guys need to be on IR for you to be successful? Like, I mean, this is it. Like, I mean, you're literally out there running a skeleton crew.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
I mean, like it's hard to ask more. I mean, and even with that, they have a winning record. Like what? Like, I don't like they have a winning record. Like with a skeleton crew.
Well, they will until Sunday. They'll be 500 after Sunday because the Atlanta Falcons.
No way.
We'll see.
There's no way that they. You're not taking Atlanta too, are you?
No, gold charges.
Okay. Go Chargers. I will also be taking the Chargers. God, please don't lose this game.
I'm so happy either way because
I hope the Falcons
either way they're 5-3
and Kyle Pitts has 3 touchdowns.
I'm gonna make fun of Jared, or the Atlanta Falcons win, and I'm gonna make fun of Drew. So like it's like the Skip Bayless thing where he's like, I can't lose. Like
I can't lose in these shoes.
I can't lose in these shoes. I'm coming out on top either way. One of y'all is gonna be disappointed.
Is Keenan Allen gonna play?
Yeah.
He should be, yeah. He was close before the bye, and then he ended up getting another, the bye. He missed the game right before the bye, then they had the bye week. So I would imagine that
they miss him big time.
Yeah, they do.
All right.
Oh, speaking of the goddamn Jets.
Oh, the goddamn Jets. Oh boy.
Boy, it's not going to get any easier for them.
Man.
Golly, you go from playing Bill Belichick to getting the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
I feel pretty good about saying that I was worried about the Jets season going downhill quickly prior to last week's show. And then considering they lost to the Patriots and now they got to play the Bills, it's looking like through 2 weeks, things are that prediction's looking like it's going to work out in my favor.
Well, they lost their 2 most important players on offense.
That'll tend to hurt your.
Becton's still hurt too. I mean, this is yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough for them to win football.
It feels like it's going to be a bloodbath, man.
Yeah,
it's basically every time the Bills play anybody right now at this point.
And they got Nyheim Hines. This is going to be the perfect game to hey, let's throw Nyheim Hines out there and see what we got.
Yeah, they can just play around, experiment with it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh man, this is fun. Yeah, I'm gonna
not for the Jets.
I mean, one thing I am really excited about in this game is watching Drew. You already know Stephon Diggs against Sauce Gardner in this game,
and CJ Reed too. That the Jets secondary across the board has been.
Oh, they're really good. I feel really bad for Robert Saleh, because I mean, they were doing so well, and then they literally lost the 2 most important people to their success on offense. It's hard to win games. And to be fair, if your 2 most important people on your team are a guard and a running back, speaking from experience,
oh, true.
Things don't go generally that well for you. So, yeah, I mean, I was wanting to see this last week because I was like, okay, I think you remember me on the last show. I was like, okay, well, here's a chance for Zach Wilson to come out and kind of put the team on his back, and I was just like, no.
He did not. He put the Patriots on his back.
Yeah, he put the other team on his back. Wrong team. But yeah, man, it's
some of those throws were.
Bro, and now too, this offensive line's rough. Did you see the Bills' defensive line in this game?
Oh, yeah. Buffalo's got the highest team total.
Oh my god! Not only is their offense just unreal, but that defensive line, dude, in the middle, Ed Oliver and Jordan Phillips up there, oh my gosh! And then you're not even talking about Espinoza. You're not talking about Russo, Gregory Russo has been a monster this year, dude. I
on fucking Miller.
Yeah, and I was gonna say and then we're not even talking about Von Miller.
He's only playing half the snaps, isn't he? Von Miller.
Yeah, because he doesn't need to.
You don't have to. Yeah, they're gonna be fans.
So deep. Did you see who was activated today? Tre'Davious White.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, you literally get one of the 5
I
best quarterbacks in
completely
football
forgot that they haven't had Tre'Davious White this whole
all
time.
year.
I remember that being a big deal at the
Yeah,
start of the season, and then it's just that thought's kind of escaped me. But holy shit!
yeah, they get Tre'Davious White back this week. Or
Oh
supposedly
man,
he's been activated. I don't know if he'll play, but
they
he was
activated it. So
activated.
they have 3 weeks. Like
Yeah, they're
they
21
activated
days.
his return. Okay, yeah. So he's got 3 weeks
Let
to
me
come back.
let me check just in case to see if they did actually. Well, I know they activated him, but
If I had to guess with how well they're playing, they're probably going to play it slow. Like they probably opened up his 21-day window, and I imagine they'll give him a couple more weeks and then bring him back. Would be my guess. Um, but I can't for the life of me I can't understand the Jets' unwillingness to trade Elijah Moore. We talked about this a couple weeks ago whenever he requested the trade. Um, they refused to trade him, and then he was 4th on the team in running back and wide receiver snaps this week. And it's just like,
we've
I mean,
activated Tre'Davious White from the PUP list. Yeah. He will remain day to day this week.
yeah,
So he probably sets, but that's just another
another piece.
wrinkle. Like now they get Naheem Hines. Like it's literally like, oh, the rich get richer.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Oh, what's the one thing you could add to the Bills defense to make them even more dangerous? Oh, a top 5 quarterback? Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh man, if this team doesn't win, it's them or the Eagles. I mean, man, like if this, like, and I know Kansas City's really good, but Jesus fuck, like this Buffalo roster is just insane.
It is. They've done such a good job building this team.
I love Brandon Bean too, by the way. Like, have you ever watched any of his stuff on Pat McAfee show where he comes on the show?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, he's incredible. Just an incredible person, incredible team. Like, I admire the way that they went about the entire process of the way they've went about this roster. It's incredible. Yeah. They took a lot of big swings, man. They took a lot of big swings, but you know what they did? Like when they take guys like Josh Allen, they take guys like Ed Oliver or Gabriel Davis or like, some of these, offensive linemen. They put them in proper situations to succeed with really, really, really good coaches and off-season programs. That team is constantly improving. That's why you see every player they pick, or not every player, but I would say like a good 90% of the players they pick, they come into the next year massively improved in some area of their game. And this is like the perfectly ran, this is a perfectly ran organization. It's incredible. The owner stays out of shit. You don't ever hear anything from the Pegulas, like, except like occasional like charity things like that they do. But that's it. Like you don't hear anything from them. The fans are fantastic. The quarterback is an alien. I fucking love the Bills. I really do. If this wasn't for the Colts, like I would be on the Bills so hard. Like I love everything about that team. And because the Colts are out of it this year, like they are like my active rooting interest this season. So yeah.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know somebody's gonna follow that up.
They're really good. I'm glad that they're not a team I have to actively root against because that would suck. With how much fun it is to watch them play football. But I'm a humongous Stephon Diggs fan, so I've been just absolutely loving watching him just continue to eat every single week.
I have to. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, I know division games can be wonky and all that good shit, but I have no faith in this game being wonky. And this could end up being the Jacksonville Jaguars game of 2022.
I don't know. This is just a different mentality that they had last year. Like they're every game they are literally out to like murder. Like they are out for blood to prove a point. Like that's what it
really
is.
What it feels like. It really
they're
is.
Out to prove a point every game. And I love it.
I don't think it stops right now. Like I think they beat the shit out of the
I
Jets.
do too. This game's a bloodbath.
Yeah, so that's my official pick. Bills beat the shit out of Jets.
Goddamn Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's not a whole lot to add. It's just how many points do they want to score, basically. I mean, and they have
45.
ways to score. That's the problem. So, I can tell you, obviously for DFS this week, Josh Allen's going to be popular, but I mean, it's hard to pinpoint who all is going to score all these touchdowns in this game.
They will.
There's going to be points, but
Dawson Knox, Gabriel Davis, Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen,
Devin Singletary.
all
these guys can score.
Naheem Hines in your flex.
Just overload the Bills.
Yeah, overload the Bills. All right. We're all taking the Bills. Is this the last one? We got one more.
We got one more.
Oh, boy. The Minnesota Vikings taking on Taylor Heineke and the Washington Commanders.
Minnesota Vikings with new addition TJ Hawkinson.
Oh, man.
Against the Washington secondary.
I tell you, this is a really good move for it, too. Dalvin Cook. I think TJ Hawkinson is.
You can open him up a little bit. You think?
Well, I mean, possibly in the passing game, but in the running game, because as great as Irv Smith was as a receiver, he was not a good blocker at tight end. As far as I know, I don't, can't say I've watched a ton of Irv Smith, but from what I remember,
I think they used Johnny Munt for most of the blocking from the tight end position.
So that allows it gives you almost kind of like a tell. Like when this guy's in the game, we're going to run the ball. When this guy's in the game, we're going to throw the ball. Now that tell is gone. Because TJ Hawkinson is a really good blocker, but he's also a good receiver. I think it's more of a name value more than actual production. But he's still a really, really good player, and I think he's going to be a really good piece for this offense to use. Mm-hmm. I know Drew, you pointed out earlier, you got KJ Osborne, you got Adam Thielen, you got Justin Jefferson, now you got TJ Hawkinson, you got Madison and Cook, you got the offensive line playing really well, and Kevin O'Connell has been fantastic. He's been a really good head coach. Their play designs are beautiful. So, I'm going to take the Vikings. I don't really want to talk about the Commanders. I've talked about the Commanders, it feels like, for 2 weeks now.
And there's not really much to talk about if we're being real. I mean, I know they won the game against Indy this past week, but I can't. I'm not taking the Commanders seriously. They're the worst team in the NFC East, in my opinion, which is a much better division than it's been in years past. But I still think they are the bottom of that division. So despite a couple wins here and there, I don't see Washington really being legit. Whereas Minnesota, it seems like they might be, at least for the regular season, it seems like they might be legit. So this could be something we're paying attention to, because if Washington does pull this off, then now there's a little bit more concern, because Minnesota's kind of elevated to that point for me where these are the games you got to win, because these are the teams that you're supposed to, on paper, you're clearly better than at this 8 weeks through the year. You've got one loss up to this point. You're a contender in the NFC. These are the type of games you got to win. And I can't see them really dropping this game, especially with how well the pass rush is doing right now. I don't really know how well Taylor Heineke is how well equipped he is to handle that. So, yeah, my money is going to be on Minnesota.
Yeah, I got the Vikings.
All right. Well, looks like that brings us to our 6th match. We only have 7 matchups, by the way, tomorrow. So only 7 games. There's 13 total games this week, because week 9 is the bipocalypse. So everybody's on bye weeks this week. So, yeah. Can't wait to I feel like we got a lot of exciting stuff out of the way, though. So tomorrow's going to be one of those. It's like, okay, let's talk because like there's no trades, there's no fun.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of the Panthers, Bengals, Raiders, Jags, Dolphins, Bears, Seahawks, Cardinals, Rams, Bucks, Titans, Chiefs, Ravens, or Saints,
we apologize.
Be sure to come hang out with us. Same time tomorrow night as we break down those matchups. All those teams will be on part 2.
Especially if you're a Titans fan. Come hang out with us.
I really don't know if Titans fans want to come hang out with us.
Come hang out with us. No, look, I've got like, I really do. I've got some stuff to say about your franchise that's actually glowing. It's actually a good thing. But make no mistake, I am totally going to shit on your new stadium because it looks like a Whole Foods. So
that stadium looks great.
Nah, it looks like a Whole Foods. Like if I could go there,
it looks like Whole Foods.
Yes, if I could go there and get coffee in the morning, like Starbucks, like I think, yeah, it's a fantastic Starbucks.
I would love to start my day with a cup of coffee right before a game of football. That sounds wonderful to me.
I know. Yeah, but then like you get in there and you realize it's the Titans, and you're just like, Does anybody have the whiskey for this coffee? A little Irish coffee?
Yeah, put a little Baileys in there.
Yeah.
You really are built different in terms of hating on the Titans if you can't even like how that stadium looks. So if your brain's wired to even be like, no, that really nice.
Oh, it's not that it doesn't say that looks like shit, but it does look like a Whole Foods. And like to be fair,
I wish I had more Whole Foods in my life then.
Oh, I do too. Have you ever been to one? They're fantastic.
No, I never have. Well, see, you can't say it looks like Whole Foods and
no, I was going to say because the Colts stadium gets a lot of jokes because it looks like a Kroger, like with the windows and the brick. Like
I've never.
Well, you're
thought
used
about
to Paducah Krogers, like the Paducah Kroger. Like if you go to a Myers or a Kroger's in like Indianapolis, it's all brick with big windows, and it looks like the Colts stadium.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So see, like
I think the Colts stadium looked great too. Whenever I pulled up to the Colts stadium, I thought it looked great too. Yeah. I think people are just too fucking picky. Is kind of what I'm getting away from this. Like these are $1 billion stadiums that are gorgeous architecture. Like, holy shit, man, we got to start appreciating some stuff a little bit more because these are some beautiful buildings that we get to go watch football games in.
I know. Oh, I wish they would have kept it outdoors. I'm such an outdoor
Oh, fuck that! Every arena, every new arena should have a dome. Retractable at the very.
What I loved about Buffalo's new stadium, that's the perfect stadium.
That's so obnoxious of them not to put a roof on that shit.
No, it's great. It's their biggest advantage as a football team. Why would you take that advantage away?
I know. I get it. It's just like. Beautiful new stadium.
It's like Miami.
I'm just
like Miami Stadium is perfectly built. Do you know what?
The visiting sideline is like 20 degrees hotter than the home sideline.
Like 30 degrees hotter because it's in the sun the entire game at 12.
Yeah.
Every time they play a 1 p.m. game, the entire game, the visitors' side is in the sun, and the Dolphins' side is shaded because the stadium was built. It's fantastic.
I saw that. I think about like new stadiums, that typically means a Super Bowl's coming. It's just like, man, I don't want to watch a Super Bowl in Buffalo in February whenever it's like 12 degrees out and snowing and 15-degree winds. Like, I don't want the biggest game of the year played in that type of shit.
It's always the AFC East teams too, because like you have the Dolphins that have that advantage. Buffalo has the advantage of like the wind and the snow, like, and nobody wants to play in that. In New England, you have cameras in every part of the visiting locker room. There's advantages everywhere in the AFC East divisions.
That's true. Everybody except for the Jets.
Yeah, they get no advantages. Going for them. They don't have advantages. They're the Jets. Well, their advantages, I guess they only have to pay half the lease because the Giants pay the other half. Right. So we save more money. That's their advantage. We're cheap.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So anyway, that'll wrap up our episode today. Make sure to join us tomorrow live starting at around 9:30. Make sure to join us on Twitter at 3Man Rush Podcast. You can follow us on there where we will be live every single time. And also Don't forget, subscribe if you're watching here on YouTube. If you like the content, hit the bell notification. Go ahead, hit a like for the video. Hit that little like notification. Let the boys know you like it. And if you have anything that you would like to add in the comments about any of your teams, if your stadium's got an advantage, if your stadium's shitty, like if you're a Washington fan, like let us know how you have sewage in your state. Like that's your advantage is like sewage pours out of the stands. Like, or Jalen Hurts, like, you know, the railing, like they'll take out opposing quarterbacks.
That place is such a shit show.
So, I mean, yeah, like let us know some of your favorite stadiums, good or bad. I'm actually kind of curious. Comment down below. So thank you guys so much. We will see you tomorrow night.